Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast, where we jam about money, clutter, and food, and the real stuff under this stuff. Join me, Lisa Carpenter, your resident food coach, along with my co-hosts, money coach Jen Turrell and clutter coach Lisa Sharp, as we help you release what's weighing you down and heal your relationship with food, money, and clutter from the inside out. Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast. I'm Lisa Carpenter, the resident food coach of the gang, here along with my two favorite, and only co-hosts, Jen Turrell. I've traded you guys in this week. Jen Turrell, our money coach, and Lisa Sharp, our clutter coach. And today we're talking about slaying old habits and the discomfort that comes with creating new ones. Because there's a reason that we have old, comfortable habits. There's a reason why it's so hard to break habits. And I've been experiencing a lot of it this week as I prepare for my Masterclass series that's going out. So if you're listening to this when this podcast gets released, I think it'll be going out the final week of my Masterclass series. So there's been a lot of prep that has gone into this, a lot of organization. And I've talked very openly in the past about how I'm like trying to organize a herd of cats. When my virtual assistant put all of our to-do stuff up in Basecamp, which is a program that we use to keep everything organized, it took me 2 days before I could even go in and look at the list because I felt so overwhelmed. And I can now say that I get extreme pleasure off of ticking things off my to-do list. But this project has taken extreme focus like I've never really been able to harness before, because we're working on deadlines. I knew what I wanted for myself for this process. I'd really committed to it feeling easy and fun. Sorry, my heater is like, I'm on fire down here. I wanted it to be...
Put out the fire.
Random side note. You don't have to edit that out. We'll just leave that in because it's real life. I wanted it to feel easy and I wanted it to feel fun. And I didn't expect that the discomfort would come in creating the freedom that I want. So the last time I did a really big launch, and Lisa Sharp knows this, I kind of did a lot of it as I went. And it was over 10 days. And between the lead up to it, the 10 days of it, the follow up, I almost lost my freaking mind. And I was really grounded in this place of, well, I can't do things in advance because it has to come from this place of inspiration. And how will I be able to write and connect with them? And this time I had to really just kind of get over that and say, I've got to write this stuff in advance or I'm going to go crazy. So everything for this launch, we're just a week out of it starting. It starts a week today, actually. Again, if you're listening to this, it's already started. And almost everything on my to-do list is done.
Woohoo!
Like, almost everything. There's still a lot of stuff, but the big stuff is almost done. I've only got one more masterclass content that I've got to write. Most of my emails are done. And I'm really, really proud of myself. However, it's been also incredibly uncomfortable because it's forced me to be efficient, which means no context switching. So for those of you that aren't familiar with context switching, us laymen call it multitasking. It's not efficient to multitask. It's not efficient to start writing an email and halfway through switch to Facebook, and then halfway through, I got to upload a video, and then halfway through, I need to write notes for a podcast. Now Lisa's messaged me. I need to get back to her. Somebody left me a message on Voxer. I need to attend to that. I've had to really sit down and say, for these next 3 hours, this is the only thing I'm doing. And it's like an itch I want to scratch, Facebook. It's like, I'll just message someone, or I see somebody's message me. That has been the most uncomfortable part of it, is been just like, this is all I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, I got all this done, but my brain is also like, yeah, but you didn't do this. And is your business going to keep running while you've got extreme focus on, that's great, you made your slide deck, but did you actually talk to people today? Right? So it's been a lot of this, like, not feeding the anxiety that has been trying to sneak up on me, because I committed to doing this launch with zero anxiety. Even, the mantras that I've had to repeat to myself over and over again is that time expands to meet my needs, that I'm going to have more than enough time to do everything. Every day I tell myself that, right? Because I'll go into this place of, I've got such a busy week and I've got all this stuff to finish. No, time expands to meet my needs. Everything's going to get done, and I don't have to do it with this anxiety. So I'm realizing one of my bad habits, old habits, is I have done everything from a place of using that anxiety to fuel me getting stuff done.
Yep.
And the new behavior that I've been working on that's been so uncomfortable is getting stuff done with this peace and ease. Mm-hmm. So although it sounds like, well, who wouldn't want that? It's so unfamiliar for me. It's been incredibly uncomfortable. So that's kind of my, where I'm at. So I would love to hear you guys, habits that you've tried to slay, because this is something that's going to be big for me moving forward, to recognize that I can do a project at this scale, this magnitude, and it doesn't need to swallow me whole, because launching is going to be something I do over and over and over again in my business. It's kind of like food. I'm never going to be done. As long as I'm running my business, as long as I'm running this program, I'm going to need to be launching it, which is basically, promotion, putting it out into the world, letting people know about it. So I have to find a way that this feels good for me moving forward. And always from this place of anxiety and freaking out, and it's so much and overwhelm, that's no fun. So no wonder. But like I said, it's been interesting how uncomfortable it's been with this new way. Because it's new. Thoughts, ladies? The look that Lisa Sharp is giving me, if you're watching on iTunes, it's like that all-knowing, there goes the eyebrow.
Needs to go next.
Yeah. No, I so recognize myself in what you just said. I think probably a lot of people do. And something that I've learned about myself in the last, 5 years or something, is that waiting until the last minute procrastination thing that I have always done is really a defense mechanism. Because if I wait until the last second, and if I don't spend a bunch of time preparing for something, then I internally, this is my story, I will not be held accountable in the same way because I just threw it together at the last minute. So if I have spent months preparing for something, I'm like, this better be really freaking good. I mean, this has to be some level of perfection that does not exist. So that is a little story that I think a lot of people do that. And it's a way for us to put a little bit of space between ourselves and perceived failure. It's painful to fail, but it can be really uncomfortable to succeed. We're always saying, we want to succeed. But there's a reason why we're sticking in the same place, why we're procrastinating, why we're not moving forward. And like you said, Lisa, it's comfortable. It's uncomfortable, but it's the known variable, right? It's the thing that we get. So I love this because this is something that I have really been working on myself and my business for probably since last summer, which is really trying to single task and balance that with feeling like I'm connecting with other humans, because the three of us all work for ourselves. We all work from home. We all have clients. But we don't work in an office setting where you can just pop out and go chat with somebody, or, it's just not the same thing. So we need to have some sort of interaction, which is, how we all got to know each other is through online groups. And then we started doing video chat, and that's a wonderful thing. So it's for me personally, trying to find that balance, between wasting time by just chatting with random, with my friends, when I need to be working, versus feeding myself with human interaction, because it can get really lonely. And I think this is true for stay-at-home moms. When my kids were little, it was before Facebook. I know, hard to believe. And and just being at home with my kids and not having interaction drove me into a depression. It was really, really hard to do that. So it's like we need to be able to get out and, socialize and be around other people. That's just if we don't, we can really get ourselves into a jam. But it can be really hard to push. So my set of habits, man, that's exactly that I have really been working hard on, because I have been guilty of doing the, but everything is important. Like saying everything is super important and everything has to happen at the same time. And so I'm like running around frenetically trying to accomplish a bunch of different things in my business on any given day. And then at the end of the day, I'm sort of like, well, okay, I move the needle this much, a little tiny amount. Whereas when I'm focused and I'm actually doing, single tasking like you're talking about, like doing content creation, writing, or doing videos or whatever, once you get into that flow, you can crank out way more stuff. Same thing like around your house. Like, so, a lot of my clients have, they're sort of like ADD and, they're sort of running around the house and they're doing a little bit of everything. But what really makes the biggest difference is focusing on one area in one room for a certain amount of time and not leaving. It's so hard to do that. And that's why I use timers for myself. I have my clients use timers all the time. I've talked about it on this show a billion times, because it's so helpful, because there are so many things clamoring for our attention at any given time. And like you said, it's that itch. It's that little like, I wonder if somebody else is having more fun than me. Maybe I'll go find out. Maybe there's something more fun that I could be doing right now, because this is kind of boring. And we're just always sort of deviating from what we're doing. And a little bit of that is okay and necessary. A lot of that means that you're going to get to the end of the day and you will not have moved the needle very far, and your feeling of accomplishment and purpose goes down. So the more we can focus, the more we feel better about ourselves, the more we're inclined to continue doing that. So it's really this lovely little cycle we can get on.
Yeah, I had to put my phone in the other room, and I've also had to go through my calendar and literally it's no to everything else. It's no to extra Facebook groups. It's no to challenges that I'm like, I want to do that. Yep. It's no to everything. And I'm helping to facilitate some other groups as well. I'm doing coaching in there. And I've had to say, I cannot work with anybody until March, until this wraps up. And I'm back from Texas because I've got a trip at the end of the month. And that even has been challenging for me, because that part of me that wants to say, but I do have time on my schedule. I could sneak that call in, but it's then me taking that focus off what needs to get done. And I want to give myself all the space I can to do whatever it is that comes up. And even if it's just, okay, I'm going to let myself watch Netflix for an hour because I just need to not work and not do anything. So how about you, Jen?
I'm going to have to go on the same basic subject, I think, because I think, is there anyone who doesn't have a problem with this in the whole world?
I think
so. And, so I think it's really interesting, too, that the three of us have some pretty big projects that we've worked on that are important but not urgent until you have a deadline. So Lisa, with the launch, Lisa Carpenter, you could have left it longer and then done all that stuff right at the last minute. But I know Lisa Sharp and I are both trying to work on books, which are another thing that are big projects that require a fair amount of focused time and over a long period of time, and you don't get a quick adrenaline hit like you do when you post something and you get a like and then somebody else shares it, and all those kind of things. And you also don't get immediate payment for it. It's not like getting a new client. One of the problems I have with social media is, on the one hand, it can be a total waste of time. On the other hand, there is lots of interesting stories, news, protests. There's lots of stuff going on in the country right now, a lot of which I'm interested in as a citizen and a woman and a progressive and a liberal, all those things that I identify myself as. I want to know some of these things going on, and a lot of that I find out by opening my computer and going on sites where I don't have any actual work to do. But I And sometimes we do connect with actual clients and people who will pay us for something. So that's kind of some of the balance is like, oh, well, we want to expand the audience for the podcast, so we need to be on social media. We want to, have more people sign up for our list, so we need to be on social media. But social media can turn into these huge time drains. So something new that I've been trying this year, I've talked about this before, was I went ahead and got this 90-day year planner, and one of the things in it is it basically makes me Pomodoro my time. So if you don't know what Pomodoro is, it's Italian for tomato, right? Mm-hmm. And I actually do have a tomato-shaped timer in my kitchen, which totally makes sense. But just for an example, it makes me write down what I am working on, and then these are 15-minute increments. So I'm basically like tracking my time, and normally I don't have project-based or time-based payments for things. Right now I am working on a project where I'm tracking my time, which is helping even more doing this. But it allows me such a different look at my calendar, and I put these arrows in, and I do catch myself doing, when I fill in my 15-minute increments, being like, oh wait, that last 15 minutes I was actually doing something else. But it helps pull me back. And then if I actually use the app on my phone, the Pomodoro app, it's counting down the time for 25-minute increments, and then I have a 5-minute break. And I've been trying to switch off my 5-minute breaks between this, which does not have anything on it except books that I'm reading, because I'm trying to do my 100-book challenge this year. Woohoo! So when I read, I'm trying to focus too, because I used to try to read on my phone app, but things bing up and notifications, and there's much more exciting, fun things on my phone than reading books that I really care about getting through. Yeah. So I will look at my Kindle instead of trying to read things on my phone, and then I will give myself social media breaks, or I'll do a whole social media Pomodoro, but I try to have a list of things that I'm checking off down here, like post in this group, check up on this group, See, my own groups, I need to keep some communication with them and have things ongoing so that they feel it's worth being in the group. But that can also turn into me, and follow this link and then scroll through that and then do this. So yeah, I feel like trying to actually get focused time in is fantastic. And my best work days I've had so far this year, can I bring up one other thing this makes me do? Mm-hmm. So I've actually done daily themes. So Monday's my planning day. Tuesday's my promo podcast day, because we record podcasts. I record another podcast on Tuesday as well. And then I try to schedule in the promo for all the podcasts. Wednesday's my writing day. Obviously, I do things besides writing that day, but that's my main focus. My main Pomodoros are going towards writing. Thursday's editing. Friday is my review of the whole week and wrapping up things that I didn't get done. Saturday's supposed to be family, and Sunday's family and study. So I put extra reading time in on Sunday. That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so having the theme for the day. Well, and it doesn't work out every day or every week, obviously, because we all have things come in. But the times I've stuck to it, I have felt like $1,000,000. Yeah. I have felt like, oh my gosh. I had one week where I wrote 36,000 words in a week. I know. Which is like, a decent first draft for a book for the most part.
Yeah.
And I know that because I have Grammarly now tracking all the words. So that did include me writing some emails and writing some, things in different places. But the bulk of that was me focused on finishing my book. And that felt amazing. I was like,
that's awesome.
I actually did have some tendon problem with this thumb that week. So I was like, wow, that is actually a whole lot of writing for 1 week.
That's a lot of writing.
And I feel like these last 2 weeks I've fallen off of that track because I've been working on a project with a lot of social media focus, and I've been doing a lot less of my own writing. But again, the feeling I had on the days when I did it was so fantastic that I want to get back there again. I want to keep doing that.
I think that that's something to talk about. In fact, I think we should probably talk about it in another podcast episode, because I was talking to my VIP group about it last night, the feeling of pride and how much that moves you forward. And that's really the feeling a lot of us are trying to get to, although we don't recognize. So I think we'll do a podcast episode on that. I know for me, you guys know I've gone through like a gazillion journals and have still yet to find one, but I bought one called the Self Journal. This is my own cover. I've put it in. But what I love about it is, because I can be so squirrely and the list of to-dos is very long and I do need to stay focused, you put your goal every day. So my goal literally every day is the same. Like, how many registrations I'm looking for women to sign up for EAT. And then 3 things. my 3 main tasks that are going to move me forward. If something doesn't get ticked off that list of 3, it gets moved on to the next day and just keeps going and going. And I don't get to go onto my to-do list inside Basecamp and add something new to it until everything's ticked off there. And it's amazing to me, even when I was sitting down the other day, because I had time, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, check your book, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, check your book. Because all of a sudden, because that anxiety, right, that old habit fuels the I don't know what to do.
Yep.
And then I get pissed off that I've wasted time. Whereas now I'm like, I do know what to do. This is what I committed to today. And, it's been pretty amazing to see how all of this feels. So I have no idea how it's all going to come together. And honestly, I know this is going to sound like I don't care. So I do care, right? Like, I'd love for everybody to sign up for EAT, but it's not about that for me. It's about proving to myself that I can go through this process and I can create new habits, and I'm capable of doing things a new way and not falling, victim to myself about the old anxiety and ways of doing things. So I really challenge our listeners to get in touch with, just pay attention to the behaviors and patterns of how you go through your life, and what you don't like about them, and what you want to change, and what you're willing to try, and recognize it's going to be uncomfortable. Like, you're going to get pulled, right? You're going to get that itch to do all the other things. Are you willing to stay the course? So if it comes to food prep, are you willing to just stay in the kitchen for an hour? Finish your cooking, put it in the fridge. Jen Turrell's making an awesome face. But people are like, oh, I don't want to do that, right? Like, just stay the course. Like, put the chicken in. It's going to take 30 minutes to cook anyways. Stay in the kitchen. What else can you get done?
Listen to a podcast.
I know, right? Like Lisa said, pick one room. Close the door. Don't let yourself put bells on the door. Close the door. Yeah. Stay in the damn room until you've done what you say you're going to do.
Literally and figuratively, stay in the room.
You will feel so much better afterwards. So
let that be your mantra.
Stay in the room.
Stay in the room.
That's really
stay in the room.
Even when I was talking to you guys way back when about me doing my projections for the year, and it was just like that. Stay at the table, Lisa. Do not push away from the table. Yep. So 2017 is really a year that I'm leaning into the discomfort of all things new, which is opening up a whole lot more possibility for me and growth. So any final thoughts, ladies, before we wrap this up?
No,
room is that should be the final thought, I think.
Stay in the room.
Yeah. Let's wrap on that.
That sounds good.
All right. So we would love for you to head over to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review. That's how more people find us. And we need more reviews because you guys keep telling us you love us. We get emails and PMs on Facebook, and put it in iTunes, because then more people will be able to find us. And if you don't know how to do that, just send me a message and we'll get directions over to you, because some people need directions on how to do that. Seriously, we'll put together
Yeah, one thing that's odd about leaving a review on iTunes that I have found is it's like you do it, you submit it, and it just goes away like into the ether. And then it shows up like 24 hours later. So, mostly when you put things up, you do reviews online, it comes up immediately. And so you have the satisfaction of it actually worked. And for whatever reason, they don't do that on iTunes. So,
and we really appreciate reviews. So please.
Oh, yeah. And we want to hear what you have to say.
And what you want to hear about, right?
Yeah, totally.
And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear what you think here on YouTube as well.
And come over to our free Facebook group and let us know what you're thinking. We're always in there.
Oh, and you know what? Today, I think this week is the last week of my 3-part Masterclass series, so it's not too late to hop on. The replays are up. They'll be up for a few more days, so you can catch the replays and hop on the call. It's lisacarpenter.ca/Masterclass. So come over and learn something. It's all about how to lose weight and keep it off, right? Full circle here. All right. I will talk to you guys on our next episode. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello, all the stuff viewers and listeners. Lisa Carpenter here, your resident food coach. And today I want to extend a very special invitation to a free 3-part masterclass series that I'm running on how to lose weight and keep it off. And I'm going to be digging into topics such as why willpower never works for creating lasting weight loss and the tools that you're missing to create that lasting change. We're also going to talk about how to curb your cravings and gain control of your emotional eating. I know this is something that plagues so many of you. We're also going to talk about foods that create radical transformation in your body, not just physically, but also emotionally. And we're going to get into all the kind of nitty-gritty proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and how you can kind of put them all together to create your own nutritional blueprint. It's going to be great fun. I'm super excited to be delivering this content, and we kick off on February 14th. So I would love to have you register. You can find the sign-up page at lisacarpenter.ca/masterclass. I've also included the links down below. Again, we start February 14th, and I would love to see you there.